Hey guys, welcome back to CrossFit Milford Athletics. We're back for the first time since we started the Open. The Open is finally over, and we've got a new phase coming up in our training. So what I'm going to do here today is kind of give Jay some scenarios of athletes going forward, whether or not you've qualified for regionals or Masters qualifier, or maybe if you're going to be beginning the 2018 season. I think you're going to see some common threads here and some common themes. So real quick, I'm going to ask Jay a couple of questions as far as making up different athletes here. So the first athlete, this is me. I didn't qualify for regionals.
Okay.
And this is the first week post-Open. What do I do?
Yeah, so I think this is the hardest thing for any CrossFitter to grasp, and that's deloading, and that's just resting. Because most of the time when you get into the competition, it's like, oh, full steam ahead. Everybody has their journals down as far as like, all right, well, what happened in like 17.1 and 17.2 and 3, 4, 5, and where did I feel this, and I felt fatigue here, and I felt there. So everyone's kind of collecting their own data and comparing the data to everybody in the world, because that's what essentially the Opens do, is that they provide you a worldwide source of data based off your fitness and comparisons. And I think that's great, and it's also bad. I think it's great from the sense of you can truly see where you are, where you stand. You can see how your performance is in the different realms that CrossFit puts forth. I think it's bad in the sense where people then take this and want to kind of dive straight into it. Yeah. And if you look at any training program for any sport in the world, whenever there's a competition that ends, there's a transition period. And that transition period might be 1 week or it might be a month, where you're like not doing anything. And for a sport like track and field, where you might have multiple competitions, like multiple events of main races. So if you take that into CrossFit, it's the Opens, into regionals, into the games, you make the games. So that's essentially 3 different peaks within inside. Now, for people who didn't make it, you have to think like once you didn't get through the Opens, then that's it. Like that season is done, right? Your season's over. So the most important thing you can, and that time of the Open is such a stressful time for athletes. You know, people get sick after the Open. People get moody during the Opens. It's because you're training so hard, you put so much into it. For a lot of the athletes trying to make the regionals, your immune system gets lowered, your stress response goes up, so all of a sudden your body just breaks down. Now, if you continue to push really hard, once that's done, you're gonna feel you got hit by a Mack truck in a couple weeks. So your body's gonna kick into what's called allostasis. So allostasis is a neurological response to too much stress on the body. And at that point, your body, it's gonna find a way to get you to back off. Whether that's making you hate working out, hate the gym, you can't wake up. Your hormones, your hormonal balance might even shift, where your cortisol might be off, where you might be peaking at night and not in the morning, right? Your T levels might drop. So it's like you can't wake up in the morning, or you have all this energy at night, or you come into the gym, you don't want to work out, and you're like, this sucks, I don't want to do anything, right? That's your body telling you that you're now in that overtrained state. Some people push it there by trying to go too hard. So for the athletes who are finished with the Opens, they really need to take this time and chill out. Like, don't come in and do soul crushing, like WODs. Don't kind of do like, you know, a 30-minute AMRAP of Nancy, Isabel, Grace, Fran, Nicole, and like oh yeah, that's so cool. Because look at like the residual effect that's gonna have in your body. So if you compare it to a workout, all right, what's the residual effect of being unbroken on 50 pull-ups if I have to do power cleans and rope climbs later, like my grip, my forearms, my shoulders, a shot. So what's gonna be the residual effect 2-3 months down the road if you continually push hard now, right when that season is over? And it's gonna be detrimental to the fact that you might just be done, or you're not gonna have any strength gains or any performance gains. You know, and I look at it like, there's a study done where they take doctors who have been in the field for 20 years and doctors who are off residency and have been, you know, quote unquote doctors post-residency for 3 years. And the doctors post-residencies are just as good as the doctors who've been there for 20 years. And it's like, well, why is that? And it's diligent practice and diligent effort. It's not about just coming in and continually going through the motions. And part of being diligent to get better is being
Smart with your recovery.
Smart recovery, right? Being disciplined in your recovery. Being disciplined to take that week off, or 2 weeks off, or 3 weeks off. Then being disciplined to get on a proper program, where it's just structural rebalance, working on your stabilization, fixing all the nuances that may have occurred from the high volume training and stress, like tight shoulders, tight pecs, tight lats, weak hips, weak lower back. You experience pain in your lower back. All right, doesn't mean you keep training deadlifts. No, it means fix your core and your stability in your lower back, work on your hamstrings, right? So rebalance, and that's the stuff that has to be done now to see performance gains in a couple months.
Okay, so we're talk about the transition week into the next phase, because we may have done the workout 4 times. So some people are really mentally broken down. So just give me a quick kind of recap on what that first week after the open, as far as your rest is concerned, because I want to kind of hammer that home. There's a lot of people who are super competitive don't want to be diligent in their rest. They think they're being thorough. They think they're being disciplined in their training. But talk about how important rest and recovery is to your training.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bottom line is all the gains happen in your resting.
Absolutely.
Right? Like they happen when you sleep, they happen when you're outside the gym. That's when your body can kind of go through the super compensation model. Your body can kind of regroup and recover from the stress you just put on it from the training session and then improve. Now, if your body's gonna adapt to stress, whether it's good stress or bad stress. So the objective with gains is simple. The objective with gains is that you apply an amount of stress to the body, the body's gonna have a response to it. And ideally that response is where you're gonna increase in performance. And that response happens 16, 24, 48 hours down the road. So if you're coming off a high stressful state like the open, and you continue to crush yourself every single day, you know, not allow yourself to recover, you're not gonna have gains. You're not gonna have performance increase. And that's one thing that athletes have to understand. So what is this week gonna look like? Well, ideally we took this week off, right? Ideally you chilled out, you stayed out of the gym, you just kind of let your brain just relax. You got your orders back in place, like if you were not following through on work, you followed up on that, right? You got all that lined up. And then this first week coming back for those athletes, what a lot of our athletes will be doing is just restructuring the body. Single leg work, single arm work, lots of like stability work, lots of structure work where it's trap through raises, turkey get-ups, make sure the shoulders are working properly, the shoulders are set properly, make sure we're fixing the hips and the lower back, make sure we're working on all the mobility work so that we're preparing ourselves now for 2, 3 months, 4 months down the road. That's what is important here. This is like what's called the accumulation phase. So you're trying to basically accumulate your ability to do work later. You're trying to accumulate the ability to put your body through a more intense session and continually see increases down the road. Not just jump right into it where you're not gonna see increases down the road, right? It's about being diligent. So yeah.
Yeah, okay, and that's very thorough. The next athlete, you're a master's athlete. Well, in this scenario, it's me. I am a master's athlete. Well, not really, but
Are you?
I'm creating. Are
you master? How old are you?
35. Yeah,
You're
well, I'm
masters.
35,
You're a master's
37.
athlete, bro.
All right, so I'm the master's athlete, and I qualified for the online qualifier. So we're talking about the opens being over and recovering and transitioning, but I've got the online qualifier coming up in what, 2 weeks? Right?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's still a lot to be done, right?
Go,
a lot to be done. Go.
Yeah.
So it's the day after the open. I just crushed the last open workout, 2 days ago, and I did it 3 times, right? What do I do now? There's so much still to be done because I want to make the games. So what do I do now?
You rest.
Okay, and what does that mean?
You
For
rest.
these guys who are going to start going hard, what does that mean?
So we took Ron Ortiz, Sean Ramirez, Andy Sakamoto, Robbie Davis. All 4 of them stood on the podium last week. Last year.
Sorry.
All 4 of them have not done a thing yet since the Opens ended.
Yeah.
Because Masters athletes are older athletes. I mean, I feel like that's a dumb thing to say.
Well, we're older. I mean, we're 35 and 36 years old. We're older athletes.
So your recovery is different. You're not doing what 24-year-old athletes do. You're not recovering the way 24 athletes do. The stress on the joints and limbs has a longer effect. The stress on the body and the brain has a longer effect for recovery than does on younger athletes. So you have to be aware of that. And for these older athletes, they finish the opens. If some of them did a redo on Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday's off, right? If they didn't, I still gave them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. I know some of them might have gone in and done some stuff, but that's okay because I didn't want them to look at paper and be like, wow, I have to do this. No,
right.
You have to rest. If you feel great, go in the gym, move around a little bit, but we're going hard this weekend and then the subsequent 2 weeks into the main event for the Masters to get to the games, right? So you have to put your body in the best position possible to be 100% come that. You're not gonna see huge performance gains in 2 weeks. You're not gonna all of a sudden like increase your threshold and increase your VO2 and and take off 3 minutes on your 30 muscle-ups at a time. Like, that's not gonna happen now. What's gonna happen now is how well you recover and how well you stay fresh, right? You fine-tune movements, you fine-tune lifts, you fine-tune your ability to perform lifts at a higher percentage of your max, you fine-tune your ability to sustain uncomfortable situations that might cause you more fatigue, whether it's shoulder endurance, grip endurance, leg or pull endurance, squat or pull endurance. So that's what you kind of refine. You're refining skills. You're not magically improving stuff in 2 weeks. So it's more healthy and beneficial to rest for like 2, 3, 4 days and then get back on track with the ability of proper refinement of being 100%.
Now, getting back on track. So we've rested for 2, 3, 4 days. We're ready to go. We feel good. What does getting back on track consist of? Is that what you were just saying? I mean, are we programming? The programming we're going to receive be more of skill work, skill-based things, muscle ups, gymnastics, or are we still hitting those heavy barbells? And what's the programming going to look like once everybody's taking their proper rest?
A lot of our masters athletes are on their individual program leading into the regionals, the qualifier, because everyone's different. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. So what Sean needs to work on is different than what Ron needs to work on, right? So what they're doing over these 2 weeks is improving their weaknesses and learning how to breathe and control their body in situations that cause them more fatigue. Okay. Whether that's pull endurance, whether that's high volume handstand push-ups and burpees, whatever it might be, they're continually improving their ability to function in areas that they're deficient and keeping the stuff that they're good at tuned up.
Yeah. What was it that Graham Holberg said a long time ago? Like, if you only train what you're bad at, you're never gonna be good at anything.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you don't train the things you're good at, you're
age-old CrossFit quote. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the last athlete here, you made it through the Open, whether you're an individual or team, and you qualified for the regionals. What will the programming look like for the next month? Now, I think the overlying theme here is overlying a word. The theme that we're using here is the rest and recovery. Right. We talked about that.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Talked about that. So now, we qualified for regionals. We've rested for the 3-4 days.
Yeah.
What is our programming looking like going into regionals?
So I think the biggest thing here is the demand of the regionals. So I know the East Regional is in 7 weeks, and then the Southeast Regional is going to be in, 9 weeks.
Yeah.
So obviously at this point, if we kind of work backwards, the athletes should be saying, okay, let's say we keep it the East Regional. I have 7 weeks. The 8th week is a regional. So the 7th week out, okay, the workouts will be out. So you can plan that 7th week out, they're doing the regional workouts. You can also plan that week 6 to 8 is gonna be some sort of taper, right? Because taper doesn't mean like we're dropping it 60%, but that 2-week period, we say, okay, we're probably down like 20 to 30% going into the weekend for regional workouts, and then we're down like 60% because it's the week before, right? Almost like completely off. So it really gives us like a good 5 to 6 weeks. So from there, you figure Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays of regional style training. So if your team, it's a lot of team-based workouts. The strength components are done in a team-based setting. The workouts are done in a team-based setting. You go through the previous workouts of what they've done for the past couple of years and what the workouts have looked like. And you think like from a team-based perspective, the longest individual component of a team-based workout was Jackie, I think 3 years ago. Right? It was like 6 minutes. So you know that from a team-based setting, individuals are not going to really be working longer than like 10 minutes in a workout, right? But you still have to make sure people prep for that. A lot of it is that interval work, that quick work-to-rest ratio, the communication, the teamwork, the getting on a barbell, the keeping the barbell moving, the improvement of your threshold, because that's essentially what that interval component is. It's not pacing. It's not being good at like being able to pace a 25-minute workout. No, it's like if a workout is 25, 30 minutes long, you're working with 2 other people, possibly 6 other people, maybe 1 other person, but it's all work to rest. So being able to efficiently operate in that threshold realm for time, right? In volume. Individually based, you got to think, well, now you got to be ready for damn near anything and everything, right? So you're refining their workouts that fall in that 2 to 3 minute realm. You're refining their ability to work out for 25 minutes of super high volume. You're refining their ability to kind of lift heavy, similar muscular movements, pull, push, etc. But you have to be careful when you do the weekends. You can't just like look at it and make it this 3-day crush fest for athletes, because that you have to understand what happens to the brain when you put that much demand on it. And that it's going to break down. The body will break down. So you got to look at it, okay, I need some days that might be more metabolic stressful. Some days that might be more mechanically stressful. Some days that it's a third day. We don't need to necessarily always on that Sunday do some crazy workout. It could come in and let's run and row and do some conditioning work with some skill work. You still want to keep them fresh. You can still see some gains over the next 7 to 8 weeks, absolutely, right? But you're not going to see gains and improvements if you crush them every single weekend.
Right.
So that's where you have to be careful with the athletes. During the week, if it's a team-based workout during the week, that's going to be more individual skill components for them to focus on. So if someone needs help with like rope climbs and muscle ups, lifting positions, that's what they do during the week. Individually based, then it's the same concept. You focus a lot individually during the week of fixing stuff that needs to be fixed. Mechanics, technique, breathing components, way to kind of breathe and transition through movements. That's what you're really working on during the week. And again, the main objective is to keep them fresh and keep them healthy and get them ready for what's going to happen.
Okay.
Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, sounds good. So we've touched on 3 different types of athletes here. I think the theme is really this rest, recovery, transition portion going into your next phase of your training, whether it be for 2018, whether it be for the Masters qualifier or for regionals. So we hope, as always, that this helps. If you have questions, or if you have questions, let's reach out to Jason at CrossFitMilford.com, or myself, Jeff at CrossFitMilford.com. If you're a newer athlete looking to compete in 2018, check us out on our blog, on our competitors' website. It's competitors.crossfitmilford.com.
Yep.
And if you're looking for coaching, like I said, reach out to us. We'll try to give you the best answers that we can. And until next time, Coach Jeff, Coach Jason, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys. How long was that?